we have to talk about Chief Justice Roberts. So like out of nowhere yesterday, I couldn't believe it. When I saw the statement circulating on X, I'm like, did he just drop this? Like, this wasn't in a case. No, he just decided now would be a good time to drop this. Now, I will say in his defense, but I'm not defending this. Trump tweeted out that Judge Boasberg should be impeached and, said all the stuff. He's a hack, whatever. Well, Trump's done that. He's constantly criticizing judges. This is not the first judge he's done that to. Did anybody watch what happened during the lawfare? So Roberts came out around noon yesterday with the following statement, quote, "For more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose." By the way, in a potentially ill-timed motion that came late in the day, there was a congressman who moved to impeach Judge Boasberg, which is, it's unfortunate when you've done that and then within moments the Chief Justice has said this isn't appropriate, but it kind of gets to the very nature of what's wrong here, which is it's really not for Chief Justice Roberts to say, Rich. I mean, I respect the Chief Justice. I respect what he does for the country, but Congress is in charge of whether a judge gets impeached, and it's really not any of his damn business.
Yeah, totally agree. By the way, this puts paid to the conspiracy theory that had a brief life after the address to the joint session of Congress, where Trump said, appreciate it on a hot mic to Justice Roberts. I always remember. And everyone's like, oh, it's the immunity decision that he's thanking him for, where he actually look at the full tape. He's thanking everyone as he goes down the line here, generals and other justices. And
Trump later said he was thanking the Chief Justice in those words for swearing him in. But keep going.
For swearing him in. So this is really dumb because one, he's not going to get impeached, right? So there's not. Maybe you can make the case if he's on the verge of getting impeached, the first time a judge is going to get impeached for not corruption, but for one of his rulings or actions, maybe the Chief Justice would feel compelled to speak out. But he's just responding to a Trump criticism of this judge, which was lurid and over the top and all caps and calling for him to be impeached. But if the Chief Justice is going to get into the business of rebutting the President of the United States every time he criticizes a judge, the Chief Justice is never going to shut up, right? He's going to be very busy. And these are cases that are going to come up to him in his court. So what if this didn't happen? Trump didn't take the bait. But what happens if Trump hits back at the Chief Justice, right? And you get a war between the president, a war of words between the president and the Chief Justice. You speak, if you're a justice of the court, you should, they do book tours and whatnot, but you should speak largely through your opinions, your well-considered opinions, when you've considered everything carefully, it's come up to you appropriately, and it's something in your ambit. That's your role. So this was, at the very least, imprudent from the Chief Justice.
And not only that, Charlie, but Judge Boasberg is a big boy. He's the chief judge in the District of Columbia. It's right underneath the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. He can take the president's mean tweets and he can handle a congressman saying he ought to be impeached and starting impeachment proceedings, which Rich is right, will go nowhere. Why is Chief Justice John Roberts pretending like he's got to be the daddy of this judge or any other when he's been remarkably silent when justices came under death threats, when Chuck Schumer was on the steps of the Supreme Court threatening them that they would reap the whirlwind, when Judge Aileen Cannon was being attacked relentlessly for handling the Mar-a-Lago documents case, including threats of impeachment? I don't remember him releasing statements, setting the record straight on how an errant federal district judge ought to be handled back then.
So I guess I'm just belligerent today, Megyn, because I disagree with you both on this as well. First off,
let's get him, Rich.
After Schumer made that terrible statement about the whirlwind, Roberts did put out a statement. He condemned it and made a similar statement to the one he made yesterday. So he does have a history of doing this. Yeah. So first off, I think it's consistent with the way that he's acted as Chief Justice. Second, if it's inappropriate for someone who doesn't work for the legislative branch to opine on impeachment, then it's inappropriate for Donald Trump to do it. So if Donald Trump comes out as the head of the executive branch and says we should impeach justices, Well, it's reasonable in response, in my view, for the head of the judicial branch to say, no, you shouldn't.
Why?
Congress is, of
Why?
course.
You
well,
of all people, you love the Constitution. This is a remedy. Congress has the right to impeach federal judges.
Right, but John Roberts did not say that it is illegal for Congress to impeach it. He didn't say that if Congress
it's been established that it's not an appropriate response.
No, what he said was actually correct constitutionally and historically. It's not that Congress cannot impeach justices or judges if they want to. It's that they should not do so on the grounds of pure disagreement. I mean, we presumably all think this because we, the three of us, spent 4 years railing righteously against the Democrats for trying to pack the court simply because they didn't like the opinions of the majority. Congress can pack the court. It's allowed to do that. But it's totally reasonable for people to say, don't pack the court just because you don't like Clarence Thomas or you don't like Alito. So I think for the judiciary to say, hey, we don't do that. We don't impeach people based on their opinions only for, being wildly corrupt or what you will.
That is for the Democrats in Congress to say. That's what the Democrats should say in response to this motion to impeach that's been filed by this Republican congressman. He is not Democrat in chief, and he's not the daddy. This is one of the problems with Chief Justice John Roberts. He's not the daddy of the judiciary. He's not. His oath is to uphold the Constitution. And he, too often, must we go back to Obamacare, decides to maneuver in a way that would protect the court as opposed to in a way that would uphold the oath.
You'll find no argument from me if you want to criticize some of John Roberts' opinions. But I think that if you look at the presumption undergirding our constitutional order, it's that ambition will counteract ambition, and each branch will protect itself. And actually, the big problem that we have at the moment is that is very often not true. So to me, when I see someone like Trump criticize the judiciary, although I think he's sometimes wrong on the merits and I don't often like the way that he does it, that's fine. When I wish we'd see more of it, Congress criticizing the president, including the president's use of powers that the president has and indisputably is able to exercise, I think that's fine. And if I see the judiciary defending itself and saying, actually, no, even if it's not true, actually, no, this judge is good and we don't talk like that, and you should not impeach us for our opinions, I think that's fine. I think that is Madisonian in nature. Now, if those branches usurp the power of others or interfere in ways that are extra constitutional or unconstitutional, then I will have a huge problem with it. But John Roberts chastising Chuck Schumer in 2020 or responding to criticisms of Boasberg and calls for his impeachment, I think it's very different. Doesn't bother me.
It's very different. Speaking up against a threat, I mean, that's like a direct threat against justices is one thing. I mean, I didn't remember that he did that, but that just knowing it is completely appropriate because they were being threatened by the majority leader of the Senate. But this is not what's happening. This is a procedure that's available to Congress to impeach a rogue federal district judge, which is what many people think about Boasberg right here, given the discussion that you and I just had. You don't go out and buy a life jacket when the boat is already sinking, and you don't buy gold when the economy has already collapsed. Clearly, others are heeding this advice as gold hit all-time highs already this year. It's not too late for you, too. And you could have Birch Gold help you diversify into physical gold. Birch Gold specializes in helping you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold for no money out of pocket. One recent 5-star review said Birch Gold was, quote, knowledgeable, helpful, non-pressure. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the letters MK to the number 989898. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, just text MK to 989898 and let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future today with gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.